You gotta do a little confrontation with yourself and confront yourself and really be like, what are we doing? We don't need no more trauma. No more trauma in our life. We just need to live our best lives. So we have to acknowledge the source of our suffering. Welcome to Worthy Soul. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. My name is Danye Elaine. And I don't know why, but suffering is just a part of life. But also, if we want to suffer less, we have to acknowledge the reasons why we're suffering. Because if we don't acknowledge them, we're just going to continue to suffer. And it's going to get worse. And the trauma is going to build. And we don't need no more trauma. No more trauma in our life. We just need to live our best lives. So we have to acknowledge the source of our suffering. The source could be many. But most definitely, we are a part of that source. We play a role in our suffering to a certain degree. Might be a big role, might be a little role. But in every area of our life that we are suffering, we are potentially playing a role in that. And once we acknowledge our role, and we understand our role, and we accept our role, we can fix things for ourselves. We may not be able to guarantee that it'll stay fixed, but we can guarantee that as long as I'm alive, and as long as I have the ability to acknowledge my role in my suffering, it's always going to be able to get better. And it will continue to get better each and every time. So, you got to do a little self-reflection, though, right? You got to do a little confrontation with yourself and confront yourself and really be like, what are we doing? Like, literally, what are we doing? Are we just letting life pass us by? Are we just blowing in the wind? Or are we diving head first into our suffering? Like, what is it looking like? We're doing something. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about why we are contributing to our suffering. We don't want to suffer. But we have to remember that we are playing a role. And until we acknowledge that role, we're going to continue to suffer. And yes, acknowledging that role could be difficult. Because we got to really accept that we be tripping. Really accept that, we maybe don't have it all together the way that we thought. Really accepting that, we still have work to do. And we're always going to have work to do. Because there's always going to be somewhere, some form, areas in our life that we may be contributing to our suffering. Whether that's on a big scale or a little scale, it's going to be something. So we just want to make sure that we are willing to confront ourselves and acknowledge the things that we need to acknowledge within ourselves, with ourselves, and if we have to go and get counseling, talk to somebody else to help us see our reflection in the mirror, do that. Do that. I've had to do it. Been to counseling. Probably going to be back there soon. But I'm an avid advocate for counseling. One, because I definitely think it's necessary for everybody. But also because I'm in school to be a counselor and I've learned and understand the importance of it. And as a counselor, you should have your own counselor because you are a person and you are not exempt from the problems in this world. And it's easy to just let somebody help you. It's not easier to, I know it could be hard. I don't want to say it's just easy to let somebody help you. It's not, but it's definitely worth it. It's beneficial. And sometimes you may have to do a little searching, go through a couple counselors before you find the one that works for you. But definitely, I would encourage anybody. If you're struggling and you realize that you're not enough, you've been trying this on your own and you rationalizing some things and it's working, but it's not, it could be better. Try a counselor, therapist, whatever it may be, and see how it goes. And like I said, if you have to shop around, like don't let one bad counselor discourage you. You may have to find go through a few, see who fits for you, but it's possible, and you will find them. But until then, remember to go on that journey of like really acknowledging like what role have I played in my suffering? Like what role? And it could be hard because then you got to unpack some more things about why you was playing that role. But it's okay. I had to do it. I do it constantly. Um, yeah, regularly. I have to check in and make sure I'm not the problem. I have to really check in with myself. Like, what did you do to get up in here? What did you do to find yourself in this situation? Maybe again or for the first time, but like, what was there anything you could have done differently? Was there any signs, anything God tried to show you, like tried to tell you, like any of those things, and you just ignored it? And unfortunately, y'all, unfortunately, that's been my problem sometimes, a lot of times, ignoring the signs, ignoring God, and just being like, oh, this looks dangerous. Let me try it. Knowing well, good and well, that danger gonna turn into some trauma, and I'm gonna be yet again like traumatized. But I'm tired of being traumatized, y'all. I'm tired. Are y'all tired of being traumatized? Let me know if you tired of being traumatized, so that we could walk this thing out and figure out like what role are we playing in our trauma, in our suffering, in this season in our life and past seasons of our lives, so that we don't play that same role in the next season of our life. And for me, a lot of it was just making unwise decisions and knowing that I was making unwise decisions and just doing it because I'm like feeling like I don't got nothing else to do. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that felt that way, but sometimes it was just like the place in my life I needed something and I thought I'd be okay with whatever comes with whatever I had to suffer to get it, right? It was like, well, at least I'm getting something out of it, right? At least it's just not, at least I'm not just getting the complete short end of the stick. I'm at least getting something out of this. But that was my downfall. That was my downfall. It's just really being okay with making unwise decisions when I had enough information to know that the decision probably was unwise. And sometimes it was just like, I I wanted the danger, y'all. Unfortunately, like I was like, "Ooh, that looks fun, dangerous but fun." I'm I'm not really gonna. I'm gonna just dip my toe in it. Like I'm not going to really sign up for it, right? I know that this is not gonna lead to anything, but I'm gonna just entertain it because why not? Um, and that happened in different areas of life, in dating, friendships, situations with family and stuff. I found myself a lot of times just doing things. One, like I said, because it was like, okay, I knew that the situation wasn't safe, or I knew that what was going on wasn't beneficial, wasn't going to help me, or I was being used, or whatever the case may be. But I also was okay with it as long as I could say I was getting something out of it, right? Like I was getting, somebody was helping me. If it was so bad. But if it was somebody that I was talking to, dealing with, dating or whatever, and I knew or I already peeped game, like they got me messed up. Either they got me messed up or I know I have no future with them, whatever the above was. It was like, but during this time, I'm gonna entertain it and I'm gonna just make sure that I'm getting something out of it. Like, and that didn't matter. Like, if it was like, oh, like, for example, like, we get in some free meals. He want to trip on me. He want to act like I'm stupid. Whatever, just feed me. Then that is so terrible. But it was like that. It was like, whatever, as long as you feed me, as long as we have a good time together, whatever. I don't even care. Like, I don't care. But what happened and what I realized that, even though I didn't care, and even though I was getting something out of those things, there were still certain situations that was happening to me in those situations, or I was still dealing with or facing certain events that impacted me negatively and added to my trauma. Added to my trauma. And now here I am sitting like, I done been through all of this with family, friends, the niggas I decided to entertain myself with. I still was traumatized. I put myself in some risky situations just because I was getting something out of it. And I was getting something out of it, but I was suffering. And sometimes it's been a couple of times. It's really so bad. It's not terrible because they had me messed up. They was doing them anyway, so I was just getting something out of the situation. But it's been times where I had to move, and whatever nigga I was talking to at the time, he was already on the radar to help me move. So if we went through some nonsense or he was on some BS and I already knew like he got me messed up, I would just be like, whatever. Just make sure you like at least until you help me move. Come move this furniture because it's heavy. And I need somebody, and I'm not about to pay no movers. So, you want to act up, cut up, whatever. We don't got no future anyways. But you willing to come move this furniture, so I'm going to entertain you at least until I move. And a lot of times it wasn't until after I moved. I probably entertained them for a while after that. But it just was always for me, it was just like, if you going to be a part of my suffering, or you going to be the reason why one of the reasons why I'm suffering, I'm going to get something out of you though. You're not going to be the only one getting something out of this situation. Like, I'm going to get something too. And you obviously are showing me that you ain't trying to really be with me anyway. So the joke is neither on me or you. Because you know that we're not about to be together. I know that we're not about to be together. But I'm going to just pretend like I'm going to just turn a blind eye to all your nonsense and foolishness. And like I said, it was just like, yes, I was turning a blind eye. Yes, I didn't care. But some of the events really did traumatize me. And some of the events really showed me that, like, I was out here misrepresenting myself. I was out here letting people think I was a fool or think that I was dumb, stupid, blind, and all the above. And I wasn't. I just was okay with it because you getting something out of it, I'm getting something out of it. You think you winning, but I'm winning too. Like, like we both winning. And we know this ain't gonna work. And I don't know if you think that I think we're gonna be together, but I know we not. I've already let that go. I'm just here because I'm still getting something, whatever that something was. Like I said, sometimes it's because I needed you to help me move, and you had already volunteered. That happened to me on more than one occasion, more than one situation. I had to stay in this so they could help me move because I needed to move and I wasn't about to pay the movers, and my furniture is heavy. Not even have to. Why go try to find somebody else when you already here? You don't really care about me. So it don't matter. Neither one of us is really losing out on nothing. We both getting something out of it. But like I said, that type of mindset is why I was suffering a lot of times. Um, and now that I'm older, as I've gotten older, but especially now, it's just like, you know what? I'm not about to keep doing this to myself. I'm not about to keep subjecting myself to trauma for the sake of me being able to at least say I'm getting something out of it. For me, at least to be able to say that you're not messing me over. Only I'm not the only one over here getting messed over. You are too. We even. Like we even. You doing you. I'm doing me. We even. And that's like literally, like I said, friendships, relationships, family situations, whatever. Like if I felt like I understood that you didn't care about me or you didn't care how a situation impacted me or whatever, that's fine as long as I could be able to look in that situation or figure out, okay, whatever, you don't care and you doing me this type of way, but at least I'm gonna get this out of you. Just like you think you're getting something out of me, I'm getting something out of you. But sometimes I'm the one that ended up traumatized and more traumatized to the other person, which didn't matter. It was just for me, it was like, I'm done. I don't want to keep traumatizing myself. I don't want to keep being a part of my suffering when I knew better. And I should have done better, but I just didn't want to for whatever the reason was. And, sometimes when it came to dating, it just was entertainment. But the entertainment was costly. It was definitely costly because there's definitely been some people where I'm like, we're not gonna work out. I would never marry you. We're not getting married. But really, when I did that, it was in seasons where I wasn't looking for nobody anyways. I wasn't like, oh, I want a husband, or I was, I probably was just got done healing from something, and I just said, I don't want to be in another relationship right now. So then I entertained foolishness for the sake of entertainment, and some of it, it just was not good because I still was traumatized. I still, things still happened regardless of whether I knew that I wanted to be there or not. Like, feelings still happened, things still happened, and I still put myself in a situation to possibly be traumatized, possibly suffer from this situation that I didn't have to. Like, I could have just walked away, but I didn't. Like I said, because it was entertaining, because I had nothing else to do, or because I was getting something out of it. So I didn't feel like I was truly, genuinely getting messed over, because it was just like, if I'm letting you mess me over, am I really getting messed over? If I'm getting something out of this, if, some type of whatever, am I truly getting messed over? Because I already know we're not going to be together. I'm not trying to be with you like that. Like, I know that this ain't going to go that far. So whatever. But like I said, the reality was, even though I knew all those things, and even though I never wanted a lot out of the situation, me just purely putting myself in the situation was me playing a role in my own suffering. Even when God was like, don't do that. This was going to happen. That's all he's going to be able to do for you is X, Y, and Z. It's going to be trauma. You just signed up for trauma. And I'm like, okay, Lord, well, at least I'll have fun. And was it really fun? Entertaining? Maybe, but for the moment. Now I'm just like, man, I got all this to deal with because of that. I should have just left that situation alone. Should have just let it be. But you live and you learn. And I do have to daily, because of that, kind of be real with myself and honest and say, like, I misrepresented myself. I have myself out here looking foolish, and we can't do that no more. I really had these people thinking that I was dumb, blind, and foolish. And it was just like I wasn't. But I still suffered the consequences of those things. I still, like I said, misrepresented myself out here, and I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that no more. And in order for me to be able to do that, one thing that I really had to do is remind myself that I know better, and I will do better, and challenge myself to have more faith in God so that I can do better in His plan for my life. And rely on Him and the resources and the things that He can provide for me that will not add to my suffering. Being comfortable in that and just really working on that side has been one key thing that has made it easier for me not to choose to play a role in my suffering, because I had to be like wise and make the wise decisions and be willing to say, I need to be wise at all times, despite what it may look like, or despite how fast something may or may not come, or the extra things that I may have to do. I need to be wise and trust in God and His plan, and just let Him show up for me and stop trying to control everything myself and be worried about what may or may not happen. Because if I trust in God and have faith in Him, whatever happens, He gonna make sure that it work out, even if I don't really care for the way that He worked it out. I know that the way that He worked it out is safer than the way that I would work it out. Sometimes when I was having a role in my suffering. So, is there any behaviors or things that you've done that you're like, this is why I'll be suffering. This is why I keep jumping into this situation. This is why I keep ending up with this consequence or this trauma. Like, what is it? Think about it. Let me know in the comments. Send a DM, whatever. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's understand so we don't continue to be the reason why we're suffering, especially in the same areas and at the same time all the time. And always remember that we can adjust the things we cannot adjust the things that we don't acknowledge. And most times we have to confront ourselves about those things. But confronting ourselves will always lead to us living the life that we are worthy of living and having. And that is the most important thing. So if you got to confront yourself, acknowledge your problems, your suffering, your problem behavior that's causing your suffering, so that you can live out your life that you are worthy of having. And like, comment, subscribe, share. Why haven't you subscribed? Let me know so that we can fix that. And always remember, we're here to help each other grow. Let's grow. Do the work that we are worthy of doing so that we could not suffer and have no more additional trauma at the hands of ourselves.